Even before the launch of the DCEU, DC has been adapting their properties to live action and animation for decades. In that time, we've gotten countless TV and movie themes, some of which have cemented themselves into the pop cultural consciousness, and some you might not remember. With the soundtrack for Justice League just released, and Justice League just around the corner, that's a lot of justs. I've gone through every TV show and movie I could think of to make a list of the 11 best DC Comics related theme songs. Why 11? Because I'm ripping off Nostalgia Critic. Thought that was obvious. For the purposes of this list, I'll only be ranking songs that were either featured in a movie or TV show's opening credits, or was the song most associated with that property. I'm also not ranking intros, just the theme songs by themselves, and how well they relate to their respective properties or characters. I'll do a top 5, 10, or 11 of the best DC intros in another video, but for now, we're just talking about the music. So with that said, here are the galaxy's greatest DC themes. Number 11. Justice League, the Animated Series. This cartoon was the culmination of everything we had been teased in the seminal Batman, Superman, and Batman Beyond animated series. It had to be epic, and that meant the theme had to deliver a sense of power and wonder bigger than any of the themes that came before it. I think it does a pretty good job. With its gradual crescendo, there's a sense of storytelling and structure in the theme, which then leads to an abrupt stop that makes the song awkward to listen to independently, but perfect as a lead-in to the episode's establishing shot. What? Crescendo already means gradual? What am I, a music magician? Number 10. Teen Titans.
When there's trouble, you know who to call. Teen Titans! From their tower, they can see it all.
In 2003, Cartoon Network premiered the highly successful Teen Titans animated series, and its theme song is just catchy. I don't know how else to put it. It's fun. Performed by the painfully adorable J-pop band Puffy Amiyumi in both English and Japanese. Oh, convenient. The song manages to successfully evoke the anime-inspired aesthetic of the Teen Titans series, while combining it with a retro espionage James Bond sound that makes the song unique. It's one of those themes that could play on the radio and you wouldn't think twice about it. Unless you tune into a hard rock station, then it would be... You get my point.
They got the bad guys on the run. They never stop till the job gets done. 'Cause when the world is losing all control.
Play this at your next dance party. Don't say anything. Even if no one dances, it'll still be worth it. Trust me. Take a video.
Teen Titans, go! 1, 2, 3, 4, go! Teen Titans!
Number 9. Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Stop. That's the theme to The Bold and the Beautiful.
This is where the wealthy and the powerful rule.
That's Beauty and the Beast.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Oh my God, that's the monologue from Star Trek. That doesn't even make any sense! Thank you. Jeez. Like the Teen Titans theme, this one also evokes a 60s television aesthetic. Likely because the same composer, Andy Strumer, was behind both those themes, and the equally groovy Season 3 theme to The Batman. The aesthetic fits even better here because The Brave and the Bold was a more light-hearted take on Batman, decidedly more reminiscent of the 60s era Adam West incarnation than any modern day interpretation has been. So the 60s vibe paints a perfect picture of the kind of adventure you're going to get. while not giving the impression that the journey you're about to take is going to be all kiddie fair. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's memorable, and it's why Andy Strimmer earned 2 spots on this list. Number 8. Justice League Unlimited. The follow-up to Justice League the Animated Series, JLU opened up the DC Animated Universe, showing us just how expansive that universe was. From characters all across the globe to characters spread across the galaxy, JLU showed us that the world was a big place, and there were a lot of superheroes in it. And the theme kind of represents this transition from the large world to the, even larger world, with the opening salvo. The intro is a standard, albeit epic, orchestral introduction, suddenly interrupted by a contemporary electric guitar riff that then dominates the rest of the theme. And I think that demonstrates the change in worldview the DCEU had to undergo. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman were still the DC Trinity, but the presence of younger, brasher, and just a whole bunch more superheroes couldn't be ignored. Oh, and this part. Culminating in a moment of calm, this reminds us that these young, brash hotheads aren't out there running around half-cocked. There's a mature, experienced group of professionals still in charge. Unlike here, Number 7. Batman, 1989. There are few themes more iconic than the Danny Elfman theme to Tim Burton's 1989 Batman film. This theme is so iconic that if you asked someone, anyone, out of the blue to hum the Batman theme, this is probably the tune they'd immediately go to, and it's hard to argue with its epicness. It was so epic that it made its way into Batman the Animated Series, and has been the hallmark of that incarnation of Batman, probably even more so than the films. And a lot of that has to do with the conductor and composer Shirley Walker, who took Elfman's original score and adapted and expanded the theme to fit the show's more fluid circumstances. This theme does something I've never really seen another track do: combine dark gothicness with a sense of fun and adventure. You know the story you're about to see is going to be grim, gritty, and dark, but you're looking forward to it. Number 6. Super Friends. Super Friends edges out the Batman theme for the reason of sheer fun. And sure, maybe there's a nostalgia factor here, but hear me out. Cartoons of the 70s and 80s were known for having better intros than their series. Seriously, we were used to being lied to. But Super Friends just had a motif that you didn't forget once the awful animation started. While previous themes on this list have tried to evoke fun adventure, dark adventure, or comedic adventure, the Super Friends theme tried to evoke hopeful adventure. There was a real sense that what you were about to see was superheroes saving the world. Tell me you don't want to put on a cape and jump out a window after hearing this. that could just be me. But in any event, the song has worked its way into the pop cultural consciousness, so much so that its influence can be heard from time to time in other themes involving the Justice League. And I can't help but think that the theme had a lot to do with the series' longevity. While reworked as each Super Friends series took on a new name, the essentials of the theme remain the same. Bright, adventurous, stirring. Even if it doesn't make you want to jump out of a window to save someone. But seriously, don't do that. This is most likely the sound you hear in the back of your mind when you think Justice League.
Super Friends, the legendary superpower show.
Number 5. Batman Beyond and Return of the Joker. When I first heard there was going to be a cartoon about a teenage Batman of the future, I thought, don't do that. That's not good. That's not good. And I think the creative team behind the Batman Superman adventures had their misgivings as well. So they decided if they were going to do this, they were going to do it right. Thus we got Batman Beyond. This one is a tie between the main Batman Beyond theme and the Return of the Joker theme because not only are they variations on the same song, but I didn't see one as being better than the other. Both are metal and perfectly reflective of the grittier, darker tone the Batman Beyond series took. Whereas most superhero themes try to evoke a sense of adventure, the series theme evoked a sense of action and chaos. Gotham was harsher, colder, with a more technical edge, and the theme reflects that. The movie version, however, was slower, haunting, while still having that metallic feel. It still represented the cold, technical edge of future Gotham, while conveying the movie's theme of a tainted legacy and the ghosts of the past rearing their ugly heads again, in ways you never imagined. Number 4. The New Adventures of Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman.
All the world is waiting for you.
1975 gave us our first adaptation of Wonder Woman in live action. It ran for 3 seasons, and the theme song became an instant earworm and irrevocably linked to the character. And it's not really a surprise when you dig into the song's background. The creative duo of Charles Fox and Norman Gimbel were also responsible for memorable TV themes like Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley's We're Gonna Make Our Dreams Come True, the former of which went to number 5 on the Billboard charts. They were also the guys to pen Roberta Flack's R&B classic Killing Me Softly. They did a lot of stuff you probably heard of.
Make a hawk a dove, stop a war with love, make a liar tell the truth.
Performed by John Baylor and the same group that did the vocals for the 1966 Batman theme, The song is another example of one of those timeless, catchy, iconic theme songs that captures the hopefulness of superheroes and the general lightheartedness of the series itself. It's high on my list not just for nostalgia's sake, but for the sheer memorability and deep connection to the character, and not just because it's in my vocal range. Follow me on Smule.
Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman, you're a Wonder Woman.
Number 3. Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. While technically the same song composed by Danny Elfman, Mask of the Phantasm gets its own spot on this list because its arrangement is particularly unique. Once again, thanks to the creative interpretation by Batman the Animated Series composer Shirley Walker. I mean, that theme is already pretty darn gothic, and somehow she managed to make it even more gothic by adding Latin lyrics sung by what I can only assume is a medieval church choir comprised of 100 sexually frustrated monks. It's just dark, and sets such a great tone for what some consider to be the greatest Batman film of all time, not just animated. Fun fact, that's not actually Latin being sung, but the names of certain Warner Brothers staff read backwards. I'm not sure if that's meant to be a compliment or some kind of Celtic curse. I'll let you know when I'm done working in the names of 20th Century Fox execs into the theme from Rise of the Silver Surfer, to be released on Smule. Follow me on Smule. Number 2. Wonder Woman's Wrath, and Is She With You? Honestly, I was starting to think the era of iconic superhero themes was not dead per se, just on extended, seemingly never-ending, eternal, forever sabbatical, which is probably death by some definitions. Suffice it to say, a theme has to be pretty iconic and powerful to break my nostalgia goggles and make me put it up this high on the list. But boy did it ever, and that's in no small part thanks to the electric cello of Tina Guo. Guo? Guo? Gooey? What was I saying again? Originally appearing in the Batman v Superman soundtrack as Is She With You, Tina Guo's cello brings both a figurative and literal electricity to the Hans Zimmer soundtrack it arguably wouldn't have had otherwise. The drums create a tribal sound, as if drums of war, and the riffs are so iconic and earworm-worthy that the second you see Diana enter the scene to this tune, you immediately know someone's gonna get their arse kicked. It's only fitting that the last of the DC Trinity finally get not just an iconic movie that seriously represents her character, but a serious iconic theme that immediately brings her to mind. I'll always love the original TV show track for its sheer fun value, but this one reminds me of the warrior Diana truly is. Before we get to number 1, here's a few honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut. And the galaxy's greatest DC theme is Superman the movie. If one of the strengths of a good movie is how iconic it is, it doesn't get much more iconic than John Williams. The master of movie soundtracks has given us the definitive themes for several generations of filmgoers. From Star Wars to Harry Potter, from Jaws to Jurassic Park, Williams is considered the gold standard, the type of music other movie themes aspire to, of cinema soundtracks. And few themes demonstrate that as well as the theme to Christopher Reeve's Superman. In 1977, Richard Donner was tasked with the goal of making us believe that a man could fly. His job was made all the more easier by a Williams score that probably could have convinced us of that all on its own. Just like the Batman and Wonder Woman themes mentioned before, ask someone to hum the tune to Superman, and they will instinctively go to this version of the song. There have been a lot of Superman themes over the years that could be referenced. Such has been the iconic power of Williams' Superman theme that most Superman-related properties since have tried to emulate it, if not outright rip it off. Just take a listen.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
In fact, the strength of this theme is so powerful, it found its way into the Friends and Foes track in the DCEU's Justice League soundtrack. 40 years later, and this theme is still an anthem to be reckoned with. It's kind of hard to believe that Williams lost the Academy Award for Best Original Score that year to Midnight Express. Huh. And those are my top 10 DC themes for 2017. Did you see your favorite DC theme on the list? Well, too bad. Kindly share your definitely not nerd rage list in the comments. I'm sure it'll be totally reasonable. Not in any way angry. At all. Peace out, everyone. Remember to watch everything, share this with your friends, and stay out of traffic. I'm Digital Jedi, and these are the galaxy's greatest.